What's up, guys? Coming at you from Shenzhen as usual. Really changing things up today with a cup of coffee. You know, I usually have my cup of tea in hand. And as some of you know, I had a goal at the beginning of the month to put out one video every day. Well, I didn't mention that goal at the beginning of the month. That was my own personal goal. And I only mentioned it closer towards the 20th because I was in the home stretch and there was a less of a chance of me messing up at that point. But I actually thought yesterday was the last day. I thought when I put that video out yesterday with the conference with the 3 other YouTubers, I thought that I was ending off the month on a high note. But it turns out we got an extra day here. So here I am. At the end of this video, I'll talk to you about some reflections and where I want to move this channel forward. But first of all, I'll give you some updates as usual. So yesterday's video, if you guys saw it, was with 3 other YouTubers. We actually recorded close to 3 hours of content. And let me straighten this out. And it was real fun. It was really good. I cut mine down to an hour and a half. Barrett cut his down to shorter. We cut ours in different ways. So I cut out a lot of the blank spots in the middle. And he cut out more topics. We both cut out a big piece that was 45 minutes on Brexit, and I completely tuned out during that time. I had nothing to say, basically. But overall, it was really fun. We had no idea what to expect. We had no idea how it was going to go, but it turned out to be really fun. After we stopped recording, we still continued on for a bit, and then Guelo 60 Kirk, me and him continued on for a little while after that also, just kind of chatting. So it was fun. It was really good, and I'm looking forward to the next one. And other than that, I'll do my regular kind of updates from the ground. One thing that adds extra context, actually, to the video yesterday, in terms of Barrett's, or Lee saying that when he went into Starbucks with his son, they had to sit apart by 1.5 meters. That's a citywide policy. I have a friend who has a bar in Futian district. He was approved to open, but same thing. His customers, when they come in, they have to sit 1.5 meters away from each other, even if they're couples. So it's pretty extreme. We tried to apply for the same thing in my brew pub in Shenzhen here, and we got declined. We're only allowed to do takeaway and delivery, which we started 2 days ago. It's really slow, but it's better than nothing. And I think the reason we can't get approved to bring people in is because out of all the districts in Shenzhen, I believe Nanshan was the hardest hit, where I am now, in terms of coronavirus cases. So maybe that's the reason. We'll still keep trying though. And even if I go to the bar, my staff needs to take my temperature and write down on a log, when did I come, what was my temperature when I left. So they're still really taking this seriously and controlling it quite a lot. In terms of mask availability, also something interesting. I heard something interesting. One of my ex-staff was actually by the bar picking up a takeaway beer, and he mentioned that N95 3M, good quality N95 masks are available in the pharmacies now. Each person is allowed to buy 2 of them at a time, and the price is controlled at 15 renminbi for 2, which is pretty reasonable, especially compared to what other people have been selling it for. There are still other people selling it privately, letting you buy it in larger volumes and for higher prices, but they're putting themselves at a huge risk because the government's cracking down on this. They don't want people fleecing the public during kind of a time of crisis like this. So they're putting themselves at great risk when they are doing that. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my previous video. Yeah, I did. Okay, the temperature check things, they were hard to get to, and there were little creative ways that people were using to increase the price, like putting it together in a package with something useless and saying it was the useless item that was increased in price. The schools have been officially delayed 1 month longer, like we suspected it would. So now it's April, and when April comes, we'll see if it's delayed even further. To be honest, I'm a little bit more comfortable with that. Even though it's very hard to keep 4 boys at home here. We've been really bored. My eldest, you saw him in one of the previous videos. He's terrible at doing his schoolwork at home that's being assigned to him. Our second is a little bit better, but they're just pretty bored out of their mind. We actually did something fun the other day. We ordered some ice cream, and when you order ice cream here and they deliver it, they come in packs with dry ice. And what we usually do is we throw the dry ice in some hot water and see the steam come out and have fun with it. So this time what we did was on the balcony, we put dry ice in the hot water like we usually did, but we also put some in soapy water to see if we could get some bubbles to come out. We did one in a wide pan and then one in a bottle to see if the small opening of the bottle would work to create like a big bubble that came out. It didn't work quite like we expected, But what happened was when all the soap came out and covered the balcony, it became really slippery. And then we had an idea. It was perfect because it was a nice, hot, warm, sunny day. We made our own slip and slide. We basically spread it across the balcony, and I was on the ground pushing my kids across the ground while they were sliding on their belly, and they had so much fun. and the balcony is cleaner than it's ever been now. So we found little creative ways to have fun, and probably be doing a little bit more of that. Let me check my phone if there was anything else I wanted to. My video 2 days ago, where I was speaking of all of the efforts we've gone through in terms of keeping our kids at home, keeping our business closed, losing money. We weren't complaining about it, but I started complaining when I learned that even though when we travel overseas, we're going to be restricted or quarantined or funneled through certain airports, and we saw some people coming into China without any quarantine measures. I've heard different stories from other parts of China, like in Shanghai, people do have to go into quarantine. But I really hit a nerve. I really hit a note with some people who were feeling the same way here. And it went one step further, where I had a friend who has a company in Chongqing who reached out to me, and he said that he called his staff back because now everybody's slowly starting to get back to work, and his staff didn't want to come in. And the reason was because they heard that a plane full of Koreans came, or not necessarily Koreans, people from Korea, it doesn't matter what nationality they were, landed in Chengdu, and they were just welcomed into the public. They weren't quarantined or anything like that. And so that spooked them, and they decided they don't want to, because Chengdu is not very far from Chongqing. They said they want to still play it safe and stay at home until this blows over a little bit more. I don't know, I didn't fact check that story of the plane coming into Chengdu, but regardless, this was a fear that his staff had. And so this idea that we're still just kind of letting people in without any additional checks is pretty concerning for everybody who's made these sacrifices here. And when we're going elsewhere, this is something that I supported right from the beginning. I said it sounds like it's probably a pretty good idea. Anybody coming from China should have these controls put in place. So other than that, I think that's it. So I just want to wrap up this month. So this month I did one video every day. I can't keep that up, but this is the last video. I'm up to, what is it? It's like 33,000 subscribers now. Most of that growth came before that, and it came pretty fast. My first vlog I uploaded was October 31st. And from that time till now, 33,000 subscribers, which has just blown me away. That might not sound like a lot compared to some channels you see on YouTube, but I really think about that number in a little bit more depth. It's easy to just think about these things as numbers, statistics. But when you actually think about it, or when I actually think about it, 33,000 individual people have subscribed to my channel, and I'm just blown away. And I'm thankful also that many people want to listen to what I have to say here. And it's really remarkable. So thank you to you guys for joining me for this journey this month, one video a day, for commenting, especially the comments of support, the people who reached out to me. There's a lot of comments that I'd really like to respond to, a lot of positive comments too, but I obviously can't get to all of them. But I want you guys to know I do see them, and I do really thank you for that. And it was a lot of those comments that kind of kept me pushing through, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of kind of negative comments also to anybody who has anything positive to say about any of their experiences in China. Regardless, it doesn't matter. And those few where people are saying, thank you, I'm glad somebody's finally saying something, or thanks for showing me the other side of China, or another way of looking at things. Thank you to you guys. You guys kept me going. As I said, I'm not going to continue the daily vlog from here. There may be some days where I have, a few days in a row where I do have a video if I have something to say. I liked doing the Taobao product video also, where I was somewhat reviewing some of the really strange items on Taobao, so I might do a few of those. But what I'll eventually move to after this kind of coronavirus thing is over is back to some of the original content I wanted to do. More interviews with interesting people on the ground here, road trips, visiting events, visiting factories. There's a whiskey distillery here I want to visit and take you guys on a tour of. So if you guys were interested enough to hear me rant about my experiences on the ground here, living with the scare of coronavirus in China, I think you're going to find that even more interesting. And maybe that will be my way of thanking you guys, is bringing some more interesting stuff with a little bit more meaning than what I've been doing this month. And yeah, those are my thoughts. That's where I think I'm taking this. I don't want to ramble on too long, so I'm going to wrap it up here, guys, and just give you guys another thanks for being here, for listening to me. This has been great for me too, to kind of speak out my ideas, have an outlet while I'm stuck here, quarantined, and actually have people interested in what I'm saying. So from that point of view, thanks as well. Thanks for that as well. And yeah, before I break my comment just now saying I'm not going to ramble on too much, I'm going to cut it here. So I'll say what I usually say, and for you guys to stay safe, take all the precautions you should be taking during this time, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.